Stories that make people feel life. People who seek life with understanding.
The Three Hermits. Based on an old legend from the Volga district, this short story was originally written by the great author Leo Tolstoy. A bishop was on a pilgrimage, traveling aboard a ship along with other devout worshippers. The journey was peaceful, the weather was calm, and everyone was in high spirits, speaking cheerfully and enjoying the voyage. On that movement, as the ship sailed steadily, the bishop noticed a small group of fellow worshippers gathered at one corner of the deck, speaking in hushed tones with some fishermen. Curious, he approached them. When they saw him, they respectfully removed their hats and stepped aside. "Pardon me, my good people," the bishop said kindly. "May I ask what you are discussing?" One of the men replied, "This fisherman was telling us about 3 hermits who live on a remote island." "3 hermits?" the bishop asked, intrigued. "Tell me more." The fisherman pointed toward the horizon. "There, beyond the shimmering waters, is a small island. That is where the holy men reside." The bishop squinted but could see nothing beyond the vast expanse of the sea reflecting the golden sunlight. "I see nothing," he admitted. "But who are these hermits?" "They are righteous men," the fisherman said. "I have heard about them for years, but last year, I finally saw them myself. I was caught in a storm, and by great fortune, my boat was carried to their island. They saved my life." The bishop's curiosity deepened. "What are they like?" he inquired. "One is small and frail, with a long white beard, surely over 100 years old. His face shines with a saintly smile. The second is tall and strong. The third is elderly, with a beard that reaches his knees, wearing only a tattered cloth." "Did they speak to you?" the bishop asked. "Not much," the fisherman admitted, "but their expressions spoke volumes. When I was leaving, they simply said, 'May God have mercy on you.'" By now, the bishop's desire to meet these men had grown intense. "Take me to them," he requested. The ship's captain was not pleased with this idea. "Your Grace, it is a waste of time," he protested. "Some say those hermits are nothing but simple-minded old men." Still, the bishop insisted, even offering compensation for any delay. Finally, a small boat was prepared, and he set off toward the island. As they approached, the bishop saw 3 elderly men standing on the shore, hand in hand. When he stepped onto the island, the hermits bowed deeply and greeted him with humble reverence. "I have heard of your devotion," the bishop said. "I, too, serve God and guide his people. Allow me to teach you the proper way to pray." The hermits exchanged glances before one of them spoke softly. "We do not know how to serve God properly. We only help one another and pray in our own way." "How do you pray?" the bishop inquired. One of the hermits replied, "We say, 'You are 3, we are 3, have mercy on us.'" The bishop smiled kindly. "You have good intentions, but that is not the proper way to pray. Let me teach you the sacred prayer." He then recited the Lord's Prayer, repeating each line slowly, urging the hermits to memorize it. The hermits struggled at first, but the bishop remained patient, spending the entire day teaching them. By nightfall, they had finally learned the prayer. Satisfied, the bishop blessed them and set sail back to his ship. As the ship drifted away from the island, the bishop stood on deck, gazing at the now distant land. His heart swelled with spiritual fulfillment, for he had fulfilled his duty. He had taught these holy men the proper way to pray. The moon shone brightly, casting a silver glow over the calm sea. The bishop sat in quiet reflection, enjoying the gentle night breeze. Suddenly, he noticed something unusual. A bright light moving rapidly across the water. At first, he thought it was a trick of the moonlight, but as he looked closer, his eyes widened in astonishment. The three hermits were running on the surface of the sea, their feet barely disturbing the waves. The ship's crew and passengers, now awake, watched in awe, their voices hushed with disbelief and reverence. As the hermits reached the ship, one of them called out, "O servant of God, we have forgotten your holy prayer. Please teach us again." The bishop, overcome with humility, fell to his knees. "Your prayer reaches God more swiftly than mine. Who am I to teach you, good men?" The hermits bowed, turned back, and walked across the sea, disappearing into the moonlight. The bishop remained on his knees, humbled and awed. That night, he realized that true faith does not always lie in words but in the purity of one's heart.